heard you loud and clear, my lovelies. You want to know more about Big Kathy and the Richards sisters. So let's talk about Big Kathy and the Richards sisters. It all starts right here with Big Kathy, aka Kathleen Mary Dugan Avanzino Richards Catane Fenton. She was born April 17th, 1938, to a pretty well-off family. They had started as immigrants, they worked their way up to the railroad, and they settled in Long Island where, according to the census, they were a prospering family with a full-time housekeeper in 1938. Now, there's not a lot of details about Kathy's childhood, which, considering the time and considering what kind of family we could potentially be dealing with, not a total surprise. But that's okay, because things don't really get good until around 1958. At this point, Kathy has dropped out of high school, and she is working. And this is when she meets this football star from Long Island University, whose name is Lawrence K. Avanzino. Now, Lawrence, apparently in his day, was a big-time looker. All the girls wanted him, and as I said, he was a football star. Kathy wanted him, she went after him, and what do you know? The first time they got together, she allegedly got pregnant in the back of his car with little Kathy. Now, it seems like it would be a happy ending there, right? Kathy got the guy she wanted. Incorrect. The marriage quickly failed because Avanzino didn't really have any prospects and he didn't have any money. All he could secure was a job in a gas station. Kathy had to go and work at a cosmetics counter, and the two of them, with little Kathy, had to go and move into his parents' home, which did not make Big Kathy happy. Enter husband number 2, Kenneth Edwin Richards, the father of Kim and Kyle. Now, while most of you have been painted the idea that the Richards sisters all came from this beautiful, sparkling family, that is not at all how Kathy's second marriage played out. Before Kim and Kyle were born, Big Kathy started this relationship with Richard when he was still married. Now, allegedly, there was a huge amount of conflict while he was still married, and she was with him. She got into confrontations in public bars and restaurants. And there were alleged stories that she once drugged his wife's drink after a confrontation, followed her out to the parking lot, and slammed her ankle in the door of a car. In the 1950s and 60s, those stories. Despite the chaos, somehow Big Kathy got her way, and Mr. Richards did divorce his wife and settle down with her, but only after little Miss Kimberly came along in 1964. But again, if you thought this marriage was going to be a happy one, buckle up. Even after she got her man, there were tons of stories that there was chaos with Big Kathy and her husband, Kenneth Richards. Allegedly, his daughter from his first marriage walked in one day to see Kathy about to or in the act of shoving him down the stairs, allegedly. And even Richards himself later claimed that Kathy, Big Kathy, had tried to poison and kill his mother. Now, Richards was the step up that Kathy wanted. He was a successful clothing marketer. He marketed women's clothing. He was a retired lieutenant colonel from World War II. He had this beautiful Manhattan apartment. He had a big home in Garden City, and he even had a big farm upstate. So all of that was working, but the relationship didn't. They split, and Kathy soon moved on to her next husband, but it didn't end the 9 years of battling in the courts that they did over money and the girls. And allegedly, they divorced shortly after Kyle's birth. Now we are on to the next husband, Jack Catane. It's thought that Kathy might have actually married this gentleman twice, but the only one that's officially solidly on the books is their marriage on July 4th, 1980. For those who don't know, Jack Catane was a notorious Philly godfather in the mafia. He was associated with extortion and racketeering and money laundering, and eventually he went to prison for $3.3 million of counterfeit operations. Last but not least was Kathy's final husband, Robert C. Fenton Jr., who I actually couldn't find a picture of. I couldn't find a picture of this guy anywhere. But this was the one that she met in Palm Desert, who was known as being the Silver Fox. He was in his 70s, but he was really, really, really well kept, took really good care of his body, was really, really active, and had some deep pockets. He and Kathy had a super turbulent relationship, and allegedly she even forced his daughter out of his life. And there's also these alleged stories that she made him sell his house, take all of the money, and put it into the renovation of her home, and then he kind of had nothing at the end. And out of all of that chaos came the Richards sisters. Kathy, from Big Kathy's first marriage to Lawrence K. Avanzino. Kim, from her second marriage to Kenneth Edwin Richards. And Kyle, Also from Big Kathy's second marriage to Kenneth Edwin Richards. You guys bear with me. This is just, it's a tangled web. There is so much turmoil, so much upheaval, and so many stories that simply we will absolutely never ever know. We probably don't really need to. But when you understand stories like this, doesn't it help us understand the characters we've come to know and love on TV? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts on this crazy, tangled family web in the comments. And follow for more.